Get money!
Uyabonakala. Shaya be.
This is Leleti Nkosi. She is a wealthy content creator. On a random day, she posts on her social media while driving her Porsche. And then the next day, she posts while driving another one.
Fuck, got a budget for the lawyer though. Fuck, I'm on the run for the month.
And then the following day, she posts in her house, a mega mansion. And then just when you don't expect it, she posts at her farm. Leleti is a very wealthy woman. While her friends watch in amusement, really impressed and excited for her, it looks like they're not the only ones that are watching her life closely, because the SIU was also watching. And the SIU was not watching because it is a random day and they needed a dose of motivation from her rich content. The SIU was looking and counting, and they were counting the number of farms, houses, and cars that they were about to seize from Leleti's garage, because her husband allegedly obtained these fancy cars from money he allegedly got from an ESKOM tender, which he did not fulfill.
Injani hayi kabi kodwa ngifuna ukubuza ukuthi nisenayo load shedding lapha eSouth Africa maye mina ngikho shem ngifuna ukubuza ukuthi kusayile yanto leyakudala noma sekwashintsha mhlambe.
And now that we are still here, getting our dose of motivation from Leleti's content without even knowing where they are from, let's continue. According to the SIU, Leleti's husband Siyabonga Nkosi really thought he secured the bag here. They say he purchased farms, houses, and cars like he was picking groceries at a supermarket on Black Friday. In just 2 years, from 2021 to 2023, Siyabonga bought luxury cars worth over 50 million rand. He bought his first house in Zimbali in KwaZulu-Natal in February 2021. The following month, he bought 2 houses again, also in KwaZulu-Natal, and another one in Mpumalanga. These houses were 13.7 million rand. And 2 months later, he bought another house in Molokai Estate, also in KwaZulu-Natal, for 5.7 million rand. He then bought land in Mpumalanga for 4.6 million rand. And then in November, same year, he bought a penthouse at the luxurious Capital on Park in Sundown in Gauteng for 13.5 million rand. He was not done. Siyabonga continued to buy cars. He bought 5 supercars, which include 2 Lamborghini Urus. He also bought a Porsche Macan and a Porsche Panamera GTS.
Uyabonakala. Shaya be. Shaya. Shaya.
And during this time that Siyabonga was shopping for houses, cars, and farms, left, right, and center, it was between 2021 and 2023. The SIU says he was involved in a corrupt tender within ESKOM. They say officials approved inflated and irregular purchase orders for relays that Siyabonga was providing them. And relays are equipment meant to keep power stations running. The SIU says instead of delivering reliable service, Siyabonga delivered invoices. ESKOM officials signed off on contracts that priced relays at 50,000 rand each when the market priced value was between 180 rand and 450 rand. They say this manipulation resulted in a direct financial loss of over 75 million rand to ESKOM. The unit also said that ESKOM officials would allegedly split purchase orders to keep transactions below 1 million rand threshold. They allegedly did this to abuse the informal tendering system and avoid formal procurement processes. They say false part numbers were uploaded to ESKOM's system to ensure that only colluding vendors could bid, and inflating costs for equipment which was never needed and remained unused in stock till today.
Injani hayi kabi kodwa ngifuna ukubuza ukuthi nisenayo load shedding lapha eSouth Africa maye mina ngikho shem ngifuna ukubuza ukuthi kusayile yanto leyakudala noma sekwashintsha mhlawumbe.
Most of the properties and cars that Siyabonga got from the money that he made from these tenders was allegedly transferred into a trust, which he is cited both personally and as a trustee. And the trusts are the Nkosi Royal Trust, Siyabonga Kukhanya Trust, and Siyabonga Nkosi Trust. The SIU secured a preservation order to freeze 17 properties worth 76.5 million rand. They also froze 7 luxury cars belonging to Siyabonga. And they say that in line with laws that are governing its law enforcement operations, they will refer any evidence of criminal conduct which was uncovered during the investigation to the National Prosecuting Authority for further action.
Uyabonakala. Shaya phela. Shaya.
Guys, aningitsheleni kwenzakalani emhlabeni, hayi no South Africa, emhlabeni. What in the movie is this? Yo, people are getting arrested left, right, and center. I was telling my friend today, hey, ungahaleli impilo yomunye umuntu. Don't envy and wish upon other people's lives, because I was telling my friend today, I was telling my friend, yo, a lot of people that we used to look at and go, look, their lives. And then the bad thing about envying somebody else or wishing you had their lives, you lose focus on your life. Because there were people at some point that I looked at and I lost focus on my life and I felt like an underachiever. Where people are rocking the McLarens, the Rolls Royce, they're real rushed. And I'll be in my G-Wagon and still feel like I'm an underachiever. Ababoshwa. And I'm like, yo, rather take a snail pace legit than take a cheetah's place, excuse the pun, a cheetah, the animal, and the cheetah's speed illegally. No. Ababoshwa. I remember some of them, I would bump into them on Emirates first class buffet. And I'm thinking, baphila kamnandi, bahamba namachoma abayi-8, amachoma ababhadalelwe, baphethwa iluggage yakhona. And I'm like, hey, so you need to work hard. Now uzoflyisa amachoma akho. That time, and it took me months to save for that ticket. Woo!
What are your thoughts on this story? Let's talk in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe. I will see you on the next one.
Imagine this. You are sitting in the dark. Your fridge is defrosting. Your small business, the one you poured your life savings into, is bleeding money because you can't afford diesel for the generator. You are told to be patient. You are told it's just load shedding. But Kanti, while Mzansi was plunged into darkness, the money meant to keep our lights on was funding trips to the Maldives. It was buying Porsche Cayennes. It was buying a Christmas horse. Yes, you heard me right. Today, we are unpacking a jaw-dropping special investigating unit, the SIU Preservation Order. 76.5 million rand of assets frozen, 17 prime properties, 7 ultra-luxury cars, all linked to businessman Siyabonga Moses Goodwill Nkosi and his wife, the famous Instagram influencer Leleti Nkosi. We are going to look at the anatomy of this alleged corruption, the staggering failure of ESKOM's internal controls, and the true cost of this greed to the everyday South African. Grab a seat. This one is going to make your blood boil. Let's get into the mechanics of this operation. How exactly do you siphon tens of millions of rands from a state-owned entity without tripping the alarms immediately? It all comes down to what we call in the political economy sphere procurement irregularities and supply chain manipulation. Between 2021 and 2023, some of the worst years for load shedding in our history, the SIU uncovered a massive syndicate operating at ESKOM's Kusile and Matla power stations. These aren't just any power stations. These are critical infrastructure sites meant to stabilize our grid. Instead of delivering reliable service, Siyabonga Nkosi's companies delivered invoices. And here is the absolute bombshell of how they did it. They exploited a loophole in the procurement of electrical relays. For those who aren't engineers, a relay is essentially a simple, heavy-duty electrical switch. The standard market price for these specific relays was between 180 and 450 rand. But ESKOM officials, people trusted with our national grid, signed off on purchase orders that priced these exact same relays at 50,000 rand each. That is an astronomical, scientifically absurd markup. It represents a total collapse of oversight mechanisms. When an invoice comes across a desk for 50,000 rand for a 200 rand switch and a supply chain manager signs it, that is no longer negligence. In analytical terms, that is deliberate capital flight. This manipulation alone resulted in a direct, calculated financial loss of 73.6 million rand to ESKOM.
Now, let's talk about where that 73.6 million rand allegedly went. In South Africa, there's a running joke on social media. Nobody is filthy rich without doing something illegal. While we want to believe in clean money, cases like this make it incredibly hard. While South Africans were losing businesses, while restaurants were shutting down because they couldn't afford the exorbitant costs of alternative power, Siyabonga and his wife Leleti Nkosi were allegedly eating the ESKOM money. Leleti, known for her highly curated Instagram aesthetic, didn't hold back. The girl has been living large. We are talking about the ultimate soft life. Her followers were treated to front row seats of vacations in the Maldives, shopping sprees in Paris, sunsets in Greece, luxury in Dubai, and fine dining in Italy. She even posted a horse she got as a Christmas gift. A whole horse, ladies and gentlemen. While you were trying to figure out how to cook supper before stage 6 load shedding hit at 6 p.m., ESKOM money was allegedly buying equestrian gifts. But the internet never forgets. As soon as the SIU Preservation Order made headlines, a massive cleanup operation began. Leleti started deleting photos and videos of the luxury cars from her Instagram account. It's a classic crisis management move, but it's too late. The digital footprint is there. They didn't just hide their wealth, they flaunted it. They mocked the very taxpayers who were unwittingly funding their European summers. This is why electricity tariffs keep skyrocketing. We aren't just paying for coal and maintenance, we are paying for Lamborghinis and Parisian holidays.
Now let's talk about the masterclass in forensic accounting the SIU just pulled off. Recovering stolen state funds is notoriously difficult because the money is never kept in one place. It is fragmented. To execute this, Nkosi allegedly utilized a network of trusts. He is cited both personally and as a trustee of the Nkosi Royal Trust, the Siyabonga Gukanya Trust, and the Siyabonga Nkosi Trust. In financial jargon, these trusts acted as laundering conduits. This means they were used to wash the dirty money from ESKOM, making it look like legitimate investments. They funneled this cash into 17 prime immovable properties scattered across top suburbs and estates in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and Mpumalanga. And the garage, it reads like a luxury dealership catalog. 7 luxury vehicles, including Lamborghinis, Porsche Cayennes, and a Porsche Panamera. But the SIU approached the special tribunal and secured a preservation order. What does this mean for the Nkosi family? It means checkmate for now. A preservation order is a strict preventative legal measure. It legally freezes the assets in place. Nkosi and Leleti cannot sell the houses. They cannot transfer the cars to a cousin. They cannot hide the assets offshore while the investigation wraps up. The state has essentially locked the doors on their 76.5 million rand empire.
It's easy to get lost in the glitz of the cars and the shock of the 50,000 rand switches. But at Mzansi Polyscope, we have to ground this in socio-economic reality. What does 75 million rand actually mean to a country with one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the world? Let's put it in perspective. If ESKOM had not lost that 75 million rand to a single family's greed, that money could have funded approximately 301 full-year graduate jobs at a modest salary of 21,000 rand per month. Let that sink in. Or it could have funded around 603 graduates for 6 months. It could have provided over 1,200 young South Africans with 3 months internships. We are talking about giving over 1,000 young people real work experience, a chance to build independent futures, a chance to feed their families. Instead, that future was stolen and parked in a garage in the form of a Porsche Panamera. That is the true, devastating cost of corruption. It's not just numbers on a balance sheet. It is stolen potential. It is delayed infrastructure. It is the reason small and medium enterprises, the backbone of our economy, crumbled during the darkest days of load shedding. The SIU has done exceptional work in securing this preservation order, but freezing assets is only step 1. South Africans are tired of just reading about frozen accounts. The public consensus is loud and clear. Sibafuna e Nkosi Mampuru bonke. We want them all in Nkosi Mampuru prison. Asset forfeiture must be followed by criminal prosecution. The internal ESKOM officials who signed off on those 50,000 rand relays must be named, shamed, and jailed alongside the syndicates they enabled. Until we see orange overalls, the syndicate bosses will continue to view state coffers as their personal piggy banks. But I want to hand it over to you, the viewers. What do you make of this? Do you think the SIU will successfully claw back all this money and sell off these assets to recoup ESKOM's losses? And what should be the fate of the ESKOM insiders who facilitated this? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I read every single one of them, and the debate down there is always insightful. If you found this deep dive valuable and want to stay informed on the real forces shaping South African politics and economics, please leave a like, share this video, and make sure you are subscribed to Mzansi Polyscope. Until next time, keep your eyes open and stay informed.